Hello everybody, welcome back to another YouTube video. Here I'm joined with Scott Clarkson, as you may have seen in the last video that we did together, a vlog, filming an Audi R8. There's more coming on that, but I'll link it down below or in the cards up above if you want to watch that video. But this is just 3 questions each. I thought it'd be a fun little video to do where we could learn a little bit about each other and our ideas and photography, videography and stuff. So here he is. I'll link his profile and stuff like that below, his Instagram and stuff. You should go and definitely check him out because he's really talented and he's certainly taught me a lot. So yeah, how are you, Scott?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, Dan. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, I hope this works.
Yeah, me too. Don't know how you're going to sync the audio, but best of luck to you.
Just hours and hours of painstaking moving stuff forward and backwards, frame by frame.
Yeah.
So no big deal.
No big deal. Yeah, it's no problem. You're used to doing it, aren't you?
Well, yeah, that's what I used to do actually before I learned that you could just highlight stuff and right-click it and synchronize. I used to I filmed something.
That's actually painful. That's actually painful.
There was an event I filmed, and when there was people taking pictures and the flash went off, I used to find that flash, that frame, and then move 3 different clips around, and then when that flash went off on each layer, I knew that it was in sync. And I could have just done it in seconds, but that took me like forever.
I mean, it's a clever workaround if you didn't have audio, but
yeah, but I did have audio.
Or if you're working on iMovie, that'd be a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Not that I know anyone that uses iMovie anymore, but
yeah. Well, this was years ago though, so I don't even think that sync function may have even been part of Premiere Pro by then, but I don't know. Just in case anyone's wondering why I keep looking off like that, it's because I've got Scott down here on the Zoom chat so we can see each other. But I just figured if we do it into a camera, it'll have that little bit better production quality. But yeah, so as I say, we're just going to be asking each other 3 questions each. So not really gone through the format too much here. So who wants to go first? Are we doing it alternate, or are you going to ask me 3 and I ask you 3? How do you want to do it?
We'll alternate, but I want you to go first.
All right, that's fine. We can do that. Got a notepad here, wrote down these questions. And so yeah, let me ask the first one. I'm really interested to know what you've got to say about each one of these. Okay, so right. So what is it that you like most about creating photos and videos?
Okay, so it might be quite a complex question, or you're expecting a complex answer, but really simply, I genuinely just love capturing the moment that I'm in. And that's it. My favourite photos, my favourite videos are the things that I've done, and it's never about the work that I've done particularly. It's more or less just capturing that moment that I'm in. And that's it. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, I agree with you there, totally, yeah. You something that's happened or happening, you're taking that away, and it's something that you're able to literally archive and just take memories.
Yeah, exactly.
As other people can see them, and it's fair enough then. Well, I believe it's your turn.
Yeah. Right, I've got a few. Okay, two-part question.
Okay.
First part is, what are the 3 best pieces of gear that you own apart from your actual main camera body?
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough, because that would have been one.
Yeah, same with me.
I'm really liking my Sony 50mm at the minute, the 1.8, because I'm doing a lot of weddings and stuff.
Underrated lens.
It really is. I mean, of course, I'd like the Zeiss version, the 55 Zeiss one, but it's a massive jump in price, and I can't afford that right now. So it's getting me by, this one. It's my only prime lens that I've got, so it's just looks great on full frame. The depth of field is incredible, and it's just worked so well for weddings. And so I just love it. The nifty 50, like, you know, I've got the Tamron, the 28-75 lens, and I'll happily keep that in the bag if I've got that one with me and I'm filming a wedding. So yeah, probably that lens, the cheapest lens I've got. And then the gimbal, of course. I love the gimbal. That's an amazing piece of tech. Trying to think what else. It's a good question. Not my monitor that I've just bought. I don't really even find that useful. It is useful. It's a very useful tool for when you need it, but I just don't need it very often.
Well, the reason I got mine was because of that Audi shoot, because you had one. I was like, you know what? It actually does make a difference, because I'd only ever used them in studios.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
obviously, like, the reason I'd used them was because, like, the designer or whoever I was working with wanted to see the images. And I was like, well, you can look at the back of the screen, but there's peaking, like red peaking zones, there's zebra lines and all sorts. And they're going, this looks awful. And I'm like, right, okay, so a monitor would help. But they usually paid for it or brought one in or we rented one. So I was just like never really thought about using one. And then I saw you use it and I was like, I could use that. Now I've got two.
You got. No, it is. It's useful for when you need it, you know, and I'm certain, and it looks cool. It looks cool. But I found that it's just an extra thing to, like, you know, you bring another battery for it, make sure they're fully charged, and it's another thing with the wires connecting into the thing. Sometimes it's just a little bit like in the way of you in the shot. One extra thing that you don't need. I don't know what my other favourite thing is. I don't know, probably literally a tripod. This one that I've got now, this is a Velbon one. I think it's a really good one. It's £75, but it does everything I want. It's like a swivel head on it, and it can go taller than I can. It's lightweight. It's brilliant. So
there you go.
Probably that. Yeah. It was a good question.
Don't want to stump you again. But second part to that question: what are the three worst pieces of equipment that you own?
Okay. Maybe the monitor. No, I don't know.
Doesn't have to be serious, but like if you want, like
this. It's a gimbal extension arm, so you just screw it on, and then
is this the one that got stuck on your gimbal?
Yes, it did. It ruined the legs of the gimbal. It got the screw and it pushed it right the way in, and I've not caught this on video for anyone, but when we were out, this happened, didn't it, Scott? And I needed an Allen key. Yeah, I need an Allen key to get it out, and I didn't have one. And then there was cyclists going past, and I thought, oh, let me stop one. Maybe they'll have an Allen key, and they did. And so yeah, that was just a bit of a problem. But it's not that. It doesn't make much difference having another handle on it, really. I've got my way that I hold my gimbal. I got this originally so I could put my monitor on it, but my monitor didn't fit. It hit the gimbal arm at the top.
I have to admit that the dual handle rig that I've got for my Ronin S is quite good, but it's a different style of handle to it, and I quite like it because it's a bit of an angle that it sits at. The mount isn't flat,
right,
and it doesn't sit to the bottom. It sits in the middle. It sort of brackets round where the gimbal battery grip is. So it's a nice place to have it. Plus, I look really professional running around with it.
Well, that's why I've got that friction arm. I bought a friction arm so then I could extend it and have the monitor out, and it does work, but then you've got this wire wrapped around it. This thing over here, friction arm, the gimbal's now completely off balance. It's just this big rig that just isn't very good for run and gun sort of things, which is where you need to use the gimbal, I think.
Of course.
So, yeah, probably that was a bit of a waste of money. I was dead excited when it came as well. I thought, brilliant, but... I mean, I've bought some pretty terrible things. I bought a fisheye lens once. I gave it away. It was a screw-on one on my old camera. That was a pretty terrible piece of purchasing because it wasn't a real lens. I literally can't even think. I'm having to look, but...
I mean, you're doing better than me because I've got a list of about 20, 30 things that I just think, why?
Well, didn't you do a video on it?
Yeah, I did a video of 10 daft things that I've bought as a photographer, but genuinely, it's one of the longer videos that I've made, but I could have made it 5 times longer than that, no problem. Just opening one drawer in my room, I could have done that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this is my slider, but it's just a bit too big. It's a huge slider, and they just don't need to be this size. So, but that was given to me, so not really bothered. So probably that. There you go. Those are 3 good things and 3 bad things. Sorry, that was a bit long-winded. It was a good question. I didn't really know. Okay, So it's my turn then, isn't it? This is again, this could be quite a philosophical, deep question, but it sounds quite simple. But what does photography mean to you?
What, in literal terms, or?
Yeah, just the whole like what you were saying before about capturing the moment and stuff. Is that what you would say it means to you? Just being able to take that moment away from you, with you.
I had a conversation with a good friend the other day, called Andrew McLean. He's a really nice guy, and he was talking about how everyone pretty much has the same most prized possession, and it's usually a photograph of someone or something that means a lot to them. Because like, people lose family members, they lose friends, they lose pets, but you remember them through photography. Be it literally could just be a crap photo with an iPhone or with whatever particular phone you have, or it could be like snapped on a like disposable camera or something, but that memory stays forever. So I suppose it's something like that, yeah, capturing the moment, keeping those kind of memories and that kind of stuff. But like what he said really resonated with me. It's like, you have it forever. So the whole like capturing the moment thing for me is, I like to capture the moment I'm in, and it's usually like my favorite photos are like the adventure and stuff like that. And I'm more proud of like climbing the mountain than I am the photo that I took of it that got published. Like that, the publishing means nothing to me. The photo doesn't necessarily mean something, but the fact that that photo represents that time or those things that I was doing, that's what's important. That's what it means to me, is being able to capture the memories and hold them and have them forever and relive them and be able to see, like, show people my perspective on life. That's probably the best way that I can answer that.
Yeah, it's kind of a bit of a difficult question, I suppose, but I just wondered, like, what your idea of it was and what it meant to you, because it's probably got a different meaning to different people. And
okay, so a bit of a cold question, completely off from what you've just asked me, but how does social media play a part in your work? Like, what are the influences of social media on you and your work?
Well, that's interesting, because I've been into photography and more videos, been in videography before social media was big, really. When I was like younger and stuff, when I was like 18 or even younger, when I was like doing videos on my mobile phone that had a camera on it, I was just I wasn't like I wasn't influenced by anything I saw on social media. It was just all my own ideas and stuff that I would do. But I don't know. It's a good question. That, could you say it one more time again for me?
Okay,
Wow.
So exactly how I wrote it down, rather than how I explained it a minute ago, is, how does social media play a part in your work? So how do you use it in a particular way to get work, or do you use it to represent yourself? And what are you using?
It's massive now. Yeah, if it wasn't for social media, I don't even think I'd be like working. This would just be a hobby. But because of social media, I was able to put myself out there, put my work out there. So it's played a huge, immense role in that. It's had a massive impact on my hobby, because I've managed to turn it into something that I'm earning money from. So yeah, I don't know. It's probably just.
So a lot of the work that I do is like social media work. So it genuinely is, I am creating social media assets or web-based content for companies, brands, or currently a football team. So like, that's more where I'm looking at, on my perspective, is social media plays a massive part, because it's 90% of my work is for social media purposes. Be it that even if it's a wedding, those people are going to share those images on social media. The football club will share them on social media, and those kind of things for YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, bloody TikTok if you really wanted to. But it's how. Do you change the way you work for social media? Like, do you change what you would normally want to shoot? Have you had to adapt to it, or is it like?
Well, I mean, it's part of the reason why I got into doing it, as I say, because it was a couple of years ago when I just decided. I thought, there's so many local businesses that have a Facebook page, have social media, And everyone's taking pictures on their mobiles and videos and putting that on their Instagram pages, on these business Instagram pages and on Facebook and stuff. And I thought, well, maybe I could come along with a camera and do like a slightly better version of everything, you know, with a bit more production value and higher quality, and then sell those videos to companies and stuff. That's where it started. So yeah, that's because of social media. Like I say, if it wasn't for it, I'd just be doing it as a hobby. But do I change the way I don't know. I don't think so. Because I don't really know. I don't think I can do change it for
something. As an example would be, I've noticed that I've now started shooting more portrait than I have landscape.
Okay. Yeah.
Because of social media, and that's an influence it's had on me. But generally, that's just a trend. But there are other things that I've done that are like, I've not posted something for the reasons of social media or whatever. I've done more weddings than people will probably ever see because I've photographed them, and I've taken hundreds and thousands of images that just aren't going to go out there because they don't fit on social media in the way that I feel. True. So like I've definitely, I'm just an idiot and I'm OCD about my work, so it's more that than it is, and I'm hypercritical of it. So if it's not the best or my favourite, it doesn't go on.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I have done that. I've made sure that I've taken extra step back when taking pictures in portrait mode because I'm going to crop them 4x4, 4x5 for Instagram. So you know you're going to cut the top and bottom off there of the photo. So do take that extra wide shot. So I guess that influenced it. And there was a time when I decided to do portrait videos and literally get my camera and break all the rules and just do what it feels so unnatural, and I started to film everything vertically, just try and get a slightly higher quality vertical video for nightclubs and stuff. That's what I did it for.
Yeah.
Because it was going to be used on social media. So then that's definitely a way it influenced me, and I did it differently. So it's my turn then, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. So this is hopefully an interesting one here. So to you, what is the most difficult part of photography or videography? Then that's what you were mentioning before about wires.
I genuinely, off like what I was saying before, what Dan just mentioned there is, I genuinely think that 99% of my life is charging things, unplugging things, plugging things in, wrapping wires up, packing a bag, unpacking a bag. That's it. That's 99% of my life. The other 1% is me.
When I saw it that time, was so well prepared. That took some time.
I think I've got something here that's. Let me just put something back in it so you can sort of get a feel for how OCD I am. I was just doing something a minute ago. So. Yeah.
I mean, I love it. I thought it was great.
That every wire in my bag, everything is organised like that, and then. That's where my A7 III goes with the battery grip, and then this bit's where the 6400 goes with the rig mount on it. So, and then if I've even got, you know, those silica gel things.
Oh, you've got them as well. So nice.
I've got one of them in a little pocket just there.
Oh, that's next level.
Yeah, so I'm very OCD. I take very good care with my equipment. So, hardest part.
Because I was just thinking maybe if somebody doesn't like what you've done and you're something you're really proud of, or maybe
I think at the start dealing with criticism is probably quite a big one. Especially, you'll know this with weddings, is you'll hand over the products that you might be very proud of, but you might not get the response that you expect. You might get a great review and that feels amazing. Don't get me wrong, but there's always someone that's not going to be completely satisfied. We met doing nightclub photography, essentially. And we were both sort of in the same spot at the time. And then, but I'd been doing it, And I always felt that there was, because I didn't do the taking pictures of drunk people. That wasn't really my job at the start, especially most of the clubs I was working. Until that we did that one club and we were just taking photos of drunk people, essentially. But for the most part, I genuinely felt that as a general rule, not all of my work was going to be good enough for them. And it didn't matter if every photo was amazing. I always got feedback about something that I couldn't control. I personally could not be responsible for the issue.
Yeah.
Be it something like the bloody powder on somebody's nose, or like the way somebody looks, or like, oh, this isn't a good photo, whatever. Well, no, in your opinion, it's not. But you're not a photographer.
It's out of your control.
Yeah, these things are out of my control. You wanted these kind of photos. You asked me for these kind of photos, and you're not happy with the way that your venue looks as well. That was another one. It was like, it doesn't make the venue look very good. And I was like, well, the venue isn't very good, but how can you control that? How can I be responsible for the way you've decorated? Like, those kind of things. There's always something someone wants to nitpick, or, oh, this photo is a little bit, it's a little bit weird, a little bit low quality. And I was like, well, download it instead of screenshotting it off Google Drive, hon. Like, those kind of things. So like dealing with like those kinds of clients is quite difficult, especially when it's not in your control. And then as I progressed a little bit, similar again was probably dealing with difficult clients. Like, I had one client where this girl grabbed my camera, bearing in mind she's an intern at this place. She wasn't even real staff. She was an intern. Not to just like stamp over interns, like, absolutely, if you can get yourself a few foot in the door, but know your place. And I was fuming. She grabbed my camera, all $6,000 worth of kit, and was just like, no, you need to do it over here, you need to do it over here. And I went, no, because there's a dustbin behind him over there, so let's not shoot the dustbin. And I was just like, they were awkward, the company didn't really, like, they were funnier about paying and stuff like that. So that's probably the business side of it. And dealing with difficult clients in a professional way is definitely what I found the hardest, because you grow over time, you get better over time, and that's something that does just come with time, effort, practice, and learning. But I don't think that's really the hardest part. I think dealing with people is probably the hardest part.
Yeah, I had a feeling it might have been that, because it can be really frustrating when somebody that just has a different idea than you, and it's like, well, you've hired me to do this job.
Yeah, you've hired me for my style and my way of doing things. Why are you asking me to do something else? Yeah,
pretty much, yeah. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah. Are we good on time?
Well, yeah, that's why I keep checking now. We've literally got 90 seconds left. So
I think we'll be good, because like, even if this goes off, you can continue to answer the question.
What shall I do? Shall I stop recording and then start it again on here? The 30-minute time limit on a Sony camera. Ugh. And then I can just my side of the screen might just go black for a second.
Well, I'm gonna have to do it as well, because I'm on the A7 III. We're both gonna have to do it. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Turn them off. Done again. That's good. Yeah, you might just have to stitch this.
Okay, we're back. There we go. Hopefully that wasn't too distracting. I'm guessing it would have just flicked to black or something. I'll put like a sound effects on it with the coloured bars and stuff. But yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, these cameras have like a 30-minute record limit, and it's the bane of videographers' lives. But thankfully, newer cameras now don't have that. But we don't have those cameras. You've got one camera that doesn't have a record limit.
Yeah, 6400 has no record limit because it came in after was it Brexit? Was it something along the lines of like the EU law?
That's all I know. It's to do with the
we ain't talking politics. I am willing to. But I'm not putting my political opinions on the internet.
It is frustrating, but even so, we've only got 10 minutes left before the Zoom thing goes off, I think, because that's got a limit. So, but hopefully this has gone well. Who knows? All right. Anyway, let's have this question.
Right. Okay. Last question from me. How important is gear?
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. It is important, isn't it? It's, but it's not always as important as people think. You know, I've heard of people who have gone out and bought so much stuff and gear and not known how to use it, when they could have got better results or similar results on slightly more inexpensive gear. But if you know how to use it, then I would say that it is important, because it does make a difference. I mean, I started on a Canon 200D, which was like an entry-level DSLR camera, and I don't know, I don't want to like sound I don't want this to come across as cocky or anything, but I feel like I outgrew it. I quickly knew about picture profiles and started to learn about those, and I was getting the best I could out of it. And then it was just slightly limiting me in certain ways, which is why I needed to upgrade to this Sony A7 III. So it was important for me to upgrade because it's made a difference. It's enhanced my work, and allowed me to do things that I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. Capture stuff in a certain way, but I do think it is important. But you can still get amazing results with entry level stuff, and the more budget gear, and then if you keep at it and you're getting good results and some good feedback, then you've probably outgrown it, and then it is time to upgrade and stuff. But it's certainly not important to begin with. Just as long as you get something that's, well, better than a phone probably, then yeah, I don't know. Good question, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree. I think there's a certain level that you have to appreciate though, because if you are shooting with an entry level digital SLR, you're probably not going to get hired as a professional photographer. Or if you do, you've done it at a lower rate, or you've done it as a beginner, because you're working your way towards being a pro. And I mean, I started on the Nikon D5100, as much as it pains me to admit, but that I did some of my best work on that, and I'll still admit that now. Like, my first job was on that camera. My first few jobs were on that camera in terms of photography, and a lot of travel with that camera, and I took it all over the place. I got work. Work was bought and put into galleries in London from using that camera. So it isn't necessarily about the gear in terms of how you start, but how you progress. It gets to a point where your skill set's going to outweigh the equipment you own. So I do have to agree, because that was the position you were in. Your skill set and your knowledge was beyond what this camera was, and you found a way to afford an upgrade. So I think it's more about prioritizing where gear needs to come in, but don't buy the best and brightest. Don't go buy an FX6 or a Red or something, because you're gonna be terrible on it. You're not gonna know how to work it. Start on the lower end. If you've got a bit more money, start mid-range. If you've got loads of money and you just want to throw it away, buy an FX6.
I can guarantee there are people out there that have gone out and bought a really high-end camera with the basic kit lens. Now, once I upgraded my lens from the kit lens on my Canon 200D, I upgraded to this bad boy, the Sigma 70-50 2.8 from a kit lens. What a difference this made. This was a drastic improvement. It was like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that I was getting the results I was getting compared to the kit lens. So I upgraded in like a way that I think everyone should, just start with a camera, then get a better lens than the kit lens. And then once you've got as much as you can out of that, then improve the body and get a different camera then. I just think you could, like I say, you can go out and buy a very high-end expensive camera with a basic kit lens and not get good results from it. So you just need to know how to use the gear for it, and then that question will be true, that it is important. Well, that answer will be true.
I think as a beginner, it is important to start somewhere that isn't not just out of your price range, but out of your ability. So, like using an FX6 or any other cinema camera. It's just FX6 is in my head because I've been looking at it recently. But if you go out and buy a cinema camera to start with, it's not going to be useful to you. You won't understand how to use it, and then you'll find it so difficult to use because you've never used something lower end. You're out of your depth. So I do think you need to start somewhere that more in your area that's easier to use and viable for the work you want to do.
Yeah, you were right about charging more as well. You're going to be hired as a professional with professional equipment, so that's another reason why it's important. Because if you're turning up to a paid job and you're charging X amount of money, but you've only got an entry level camera, you're only going to get certain kind of results which are out of your control. The camera's doing its best, and you're doing as best it can. But with professional gear, you can take it to the next level, and you can charge more for your work, can't you?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So, yeah, that's a good question, and I'm glad that we agree on the answer there, because that's why I pulled a face at the beginning, because it can be a bit of a controversial one. People say gear doesn't matter, but if it didn't matter, then I wouldn't have upgraded, and you wouldn't be filming on an A7 III.
If gear didn't matter, then Apple would be making a lot more money than they already are just by selling a phone. There is a reason why people don't film actual cinema films on a phone camera. There's a reason why fashion brands don't always use, because some of them don't always use iPhone photos.
Yeah.
There is a reason that magazines publish Hasselblad images.
Yeah.
Like, there is a massive difference, and I do feel like people do want to sort of dub it down a little bit and just poo-poo the idea, but it does matter. It does.
Unfortunately, it does. Yeah, but it like I said, I don't think it matters as much as some people think. You know, you don't have to say to yourself, "Oh, I want to be a photographer or a videographer. I need to buy the highest end gear I can." You can start somewhere. Like I say, as long as it's better than a phone, then you've got an edge already, and then it's just about learning it, outgrowing it, and then upgrading. But you certainly don't. To start, you don't need the best gear. You just need to outgrow
of course not.
And then that's when you can upgrade. So it's a controversial question, but I think we put it to rest. If you agree or whatever, or disagree, put it in the comments. I'd be interested in hearing what people say about it. That's if they've listened this far to like me ramble on. I would have turned off.
Well, what's your last question then?
Well, that was it. I've asked you all three. I do have one more question.
Oh yeah, you went first, didn't you?
Yeah.
You went.
I do have one more though, which I briefly mentioned to you before, off camera.
Oh yeah.
But just what got you into photography? Like I just think it'd be good for you to be able to give a bit of backstory to yourself to my non-viewers.
Okay, I'll do this. I'll bullet point this because it is a long story, but I'll bullet point it. Okay, did the Camp America program. Went on the Camp America program as a lifeguard. Posted photos to my Instagram. They emailed me. I thought it was fake. They rang me. They said, "Hey, can you come on this trip and we'll pay you to do it? Just post to our Instagram with these hashtags and also to this other Instagram with this travel agent." And I was like, "Yep, definitely, let's do that. Travel the west coast of America on somebody else's credit card. San Diego, San Francisco, Vegas, LA, Yosemite, Joshua Tree National Park, Colorado, Route 66. Did all of it on all paid on a Nikon D5100. Had the most amazing time, met the most amazing people, came home and I was like, whoa, that's cool, I want to keep doing it. That's how I got into photography, as a lifeguard.
That's cool. What age was you then with that?
I'd have been 19, 20.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Too young to drink in America. I can rent a V8, no problem.
Yeah.
I can go to a shooting range, no problem. I can have a baby, but I can't drink.
Yeah.
But I can now. So.
Well, someone asked me that question on my Instagram last week. Shout out to Charlie if you're watching. I don't know if did you catch my answer?
I did, but I couldn't tell you what it was word for word.
It's this, like, what she asked me what got me into it. Charlie did, and it was that. Oh well, you can see that.
Yeah, still had. I remember you did say something about it had editing software on it.
It did, yes. I lost the back to it, so it just looks like that now. But I like to keep it because, this is like the reason I started it all. Yeah, you could film on it. There's 2 megapixel camera. It was an atrocious quality video and stuff, but it was something you could have in your pocket and take to school and take out with you. Because back then, in like whatever year this came out, there was nothing like these digital cameras that could do this now, and you'd have to have a cassette, and then to get it off that, there was just nothing digital. you know, you'd have to plug it into a computer and then use a FireWire cable to like drag the footage off the cassette that was in it, and it was just to turn it digital to then edit it. So this was something that I could just film on and edit and put titles on it, and music and stuff, and I would just spend hours just in bed just editing on this, and then got a laptop which had Windows Movie Maker on it, put the footage off that onto that, and then got a bit more creative with the editing. And yeah, I just loved it. I was obsessed. I've still got some videos that I made filmed on that. I might share them with you, but not on YouTube, because they're really cringy.
Yeah, I'd love to, mate. I'd love to see it.
Like literally, I'm probably like 15 years old or something. Made all on that.
Have you seen the first videos that I was uploading on YouTube? They're bloody terrible, mate. I'm wearing a snapback in one of them. I've just outed myself on your channel, but
oh dear, I can't believe this has gone off. It hasn't gone off. This has been 13 minutes now on here, and the Zoom's still going on. Oh well.
Fair. I think that's good.
But I might do that. I might do a react to my old videos, but they are super cringy. Like, so bad. Don't even know why I still got them. But that's pretty much it, I guess, isn't it? I hope. Can you still hear me all right?
Yeah, I've got you. No problem.
Well, that's all right. I hope this works.
Cheers for watching.
Yeah.
This is Daniel Johnson's YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Featuring Scott.
Exactly. Yeah. I've got 3 videos now on my YouTube channel, and you're in 2 of them, and you'll be in my next one as well. I'm in
2/3. I'm a celebrity, mate.
Yeah. No, but thanks very much for being in part of this and answering some questions and asking me some as well.
Yeah, no problem.
Very insightful. If it was interesting,
I'm full of it, mate. I'm full of absolute shite.
You're not.
Sorry, I just swore on your channel.
I'll have to bleep that now. No, I don't think it matters. Yeah, just comment whatever your thoughts are or whatever, like it and all that. Cheeky little like. Thanks very much for watching, and yeah, just let us know if you've got any other ideas of what we could do, and I'll more than happily do that. Alright then, see ya. You want to say anything?
Should we both cover the lens at the same time?
Let's do it.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Perfect. Cut.
Nice. Great, I'll stop recording now.